You wake up. It's the middle of the night, and for a second, you don't know where you are. Your heart is going. You were just somewhere else, running, or falling, or standing in a house you've never lived in, talking to someone who's been dead for years. And it felt real. Every second of it felt completely, unquestionably real. Then the ceiling swims into focus, and the whole thing collapses like wet paper, and within about 90 seconds you can't even remember what it was about. Just the feeling. A residue. You do this almost every single night. You lie down, you switch off, and your brain builds an entire world. Sights, sounds, faces, fear, longing, and then quietly deletes most of it before breakfast. It's the strangest thing you do, and you do it more than you eat. Now here's the question nobody quite lets themselves ask out loud, because it feels a little silly and a little enormous at the same time. Your dog is asleep on the floor right now. His paws are twitching. He's making that muffled underwater bark. His eyes are flicking back and forth under closed lids. Is he in there? Is he somewhere? The short answer is yes. Almost certainly yes. The long answer, what he's seeing. Whether it has a story, whether some animals lie awake replaying regrets, and where exactly dreaming came from in the first place. That's what this whole video is about. And I'll be honest with you up front. It gets stranger than you'd expect. A little more haunting, too. Let's look. Start with the obvious, because the obvious turns out to be a real clue. Nearly every mammal we've ever watched, sleep does the thing. Dogs paddle, cats' whiskers fire, horses' nostrils flare. Your cat's tail gives that slow, deliberate flick, like it's tracking something across a field that isn't there. For a long time, people waved this away as just muscle twitches, random static from an idling body. It's not, or at least it may not be. Because all of that movement clusters inside one very specific stage of sleep, and it's the same stage where you do the bulk of your own dreaming. It's called REM, rapid eye movement, and it was only properly discovered in humans in 1953, which is astonishing when you think about it. We put a telescope on the moon before we figured out what our own eyes were doing at 3 in the morning. In REM, your brain lights up almost like it's awake. Your eyes dart around behind your lids, as if watching a scene, and your body goes limp, deliberately paralyzed, so you don't get up and act out whatever's happening in your head. Here's the thing. When researchers wired up sleeping rats, cats, dogs, birds, even the platypus, they found REM there too. The same electrical signature, the same darting eyes, the same paralysis, mostly holding, occasionally leaking out as a twitch. Which means the machinery of dreaming isn't some human luxury bolted on by big brains and language. It's old. It's shared. It was humming away in the dark long before anything walked upright. But REM is just a light under the door. It tells you something's happening in the room. It doesn't tell you what. So in 2001, 2 researchers at MIT, Matthew Wilson and Kenway Louie, did something quietly beautiful. They had rats running a maze for a food reward, and while the rats ran, they recorded the exact firing pattern of cells in the hippocampus, the brain's mapmaker, the part that tracks where you are in space. Every stretch of the maze produced its own unique signature of neurons, like a fingerprint for that particular corner. Then they let the rats fall asleep, and they kept listening, and the patterns came back. In REM sleep, the sleeping rat's brain replayed the maze, the same neurons, in the same order, firing off the same fingerprints for the same corners. The correspondence was so tight that the researchers could look at the sleeping brain and tell you where in the maze the rat was. They could tell whether it was running or standing still. The rat was dreaming, and the rat was dreaming about the maze. Let that sit with you for a second. We can, in a limited and specific way, read the content of an animal's dream. We can point at a sleeping rodent and say, right now, it's at the third corner, moving. That's not do animals dream. That's watching one do it. Now here's where it gets genuinely lovely. There's a small songbird called the zebra finch, and a baby zebra finch is not born knowing its song. It has to learn it, painfully, badly at first, the way you learn to talk. It listens to an adult, then practices, tuning itself over weeks until the notes lock into place. A neuroscientist named Daniel Margoliouth recorded the exact neural pattern a finch produces when it sings each specific note while awake. He built a dictionary. This firing pattern means note A. This one means the little trill in the middle. And then he recorded the same birds while they slept. The birds were running the song in their sleep. Note by note, the sleeping brain was firing the same sequence, silently rehearsing the melody in the dark, no sound coming out, just the motor commands cycling through. And in the morning, the birds sang a little better than the night before. Think about what that means. The dream wasn't just a replay, it was practice. The bird went to bed unable to quite nail the tune and woke up closer, having drilled it all night in a theater with an audience of no one. You do a version of this too. It's why sleep on it is real advice, and not just a saying. This is the part everyone wants, and it's the part where I have to be honest about the wall we hit. We can watch the machinery. We can read the map. We cannot ask the rat what the maze felt like. There's no interview at the end. The animal can't tell us whether its dream had color, or fear, or a sense of self standing in the middle of it. That door is closed, and it may stay closed forever. But we are not completely in the dark, and here's why. Dreaming, as far as we can tell, is built out of the raw material of waking life. Your memories, your senses, your fears, recombined. A creature's dream is almost certainly furnished with the world that creature actually lives in. So, a dog, whose entire reality is built out of smell. A dog reads the morning air the way you read a newspaper. A dog almost certainly dreams in scent. Not pictures the way you do. Odors, the ghost of a squirrel, the specific signature of its person walking through the door. We think in images because we're visual apes. The dog's dream would be, to us, almost unimaginable. A rich, moving landscape of smell, with no picture attached at all. And that reframes the whole question. The honest answer to, what do animals see when they dream, might be, they don't see anything. They smell it, they hear it. Each species dreams in its own native language, and most of those languages aren't sight. Let that reframe how you look at the sleeping animal in your house. He's not watching a little dog movie. He's swimming through a world made of the sense that matters most to him. I have to show you this one, because it broke a lot of people. An octopus is about as far from you on the tree of life as an animal can get, and still have a serious brain. Our last common ancestor was some flat little worm thing crawling around 600 million years ago. An octopus builds its intelligence on a completely separate blueprint. Most of its neurons are in its arms, and each arm can practically think for itself. In 2019, there was footage of a sleeping octopus named Heidi, and as she slept, her skin did something. It shifted. Octopus skin can change color and texture instantly when awake. Camouflage, communication, mood. And in her sleep, the colors rolled across her body in sequence. She went pale, then a burst of dark, then the mottled brown and white pattern she uses when she's resting on the seafloor, then a flash she makes when she catches something. A marine biologist watching narrated it, half joking, half stunned. She's dreaming about catching a crab. She's caught it. She's changing colors. And now she's settling down to eat it. Now, was that a dream? We genuinely don't know. But here's the thing that should raise the hair on your arms. If it was, it means dreaming didn't happen once, in our line, and get passed down. It means it may have appeared twice, independently, on two completely different branches of life that haven't shared a design in 500 million years. Which suggests dreaming isn't an accident. It might be something brains keep inventing because they need it. Which brings us to the real mystery under all of this. Not do they dream, we've basically settled that. The mystery is why. Why would evolution ever allow it? Because on paper, dreaming is insane. Sleep already looks like a terrible idea for a wild animal. You're unconscious, you're blind, you're prey. And REM sleep is worse, because in REM, your body is paralyzed. You cannot run. For those minutes, you are the most defenseless you will ever be, lying in the open, muscles switched off, brain running a movie. Any animal that does this is taking a real and repeated gamble with its life. Evolution does not tolerate that kind of risk for nothing. If a behavior that dangerous survived across mammals and birds and maybe octopuses and hundreds of millions of years, it is not decoration. It is paying rent. It is doing something so important that being briefly helpless in the dark is a price worth paying, every single night, for the entire history of complex life. So what's it buying? The leading answer is that the dreaming brain is filing. During the day, you soak up a flood of experience, raw and unsorted. At night, the theory goes, the brain replays it, the maze, the song, the day, and in the replaying, it decides what to keep and what to bin, strengthening the connections that matter and letting the noise fade. The rat runs the maze again to learn the maze. The finch sings to lock in the song. Your bad day gets processed, softened, shelved. Dreaming might be the price of having a memory at all, the tax you pay for being able to learn. Here's the one I can't stop thinking about, and I'll give it to you straight. If animals replay their days to sort them, then what happens to an animal whose days were full of terror? We have hints, and they are hard to sit with. Rats trained under stress show disturbed, fragmented sleep. Dogs rescued from abuse are often reported to sleep badly, to whimper and thrash in the night, to wake up frightened, for months. It looks, from the outside, exactly like what happens to a traumatized human. The same broken sleep, the same night terrors, the body reliving in the dark what the mind can't put down in the light. And if that's what it looks like, we have to at least consider that it's what it is. That the dreaming we share with them is not only the good part, the maze solved, the song learned. That an animal that can dream about catching a crab can also, maybe, dream about the thing that hurt it. We gave a lot of thought to whether animals can suffer while awake. We almost never ask whether they suffer in their sleep. So sit with the whole shape of it. Dreaming is old. Older than us, older than language, maybe older than the split between our branch of life and the octopus's. It was already happening in the dark, in small warm bodies with twitching paws, long before there was anyone around who could wake up and say, I had the strangest dream. And every night, you join a club with a membership stretching back hundreds of millions of years. When you close your eyes and your brain starts building faces and rooms and fears out of nothing, you are doing something the finch does, and the rat does, and the dog on your floor is doing right now. Paws paddling, chasing something only he can smell. You are not the only one in your house who goes somewhere at night. The next time you catch your dog running in his sleep, don't wake him. Just watch for a second. Somewhere in there, a squirrel is getting away. A door is opening, and the right person is walking through it. He's found the smell he's been looking for all day. He's in there, same as you. So here's what I want to know, and I actually want you to answer this one. If you could watch a recording of one of your dreams from last week, actually sit down and watch the whole thing back, would you? Or are some of them better left deleted by morning? Tell me down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.